Hi, Dr. Patrick Gentempo here, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. We have great content in store for you. I'm so excited to be here with you, and let's jump right into it. Well, Kevin, I've been anticipating this interview for a while. Obviously, your reputation precedes you, so I'm really excited. Thanks for your time today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So let's get back to your history. You've got your fingers in a lot of pies. You've got quite a background in the entrepreneurial world. How did this all get started?
I was fortunate to grow up in an entrepreneurial family, and actually I'm one of 6 kids. I'm number 4. So my father was a bartender, and he saved up enough money to open up his own bar, Harrington's Irish Pub. So at 11 years old, he's like, I know where you're going to be this afternoon after school. I said, where? Down at the pub. Okay, so my dad put me to work early. I literally worked a 40-hour week when I was 11 years old, after school and weekends. And so, but he would teach me the financial operations, the purchasing, and wasn't just, I was washing dishes and beer backing and serving tables and cleaning tables and everything that you do. In fact, I said, how do you become an assistant chef at the age of 11? Your father owns the place, the chef doesn't show up, and you're assisting the father cooking the food, right? So, because that happened quite a bit in small businesses, you know, someone's not going to make it. But to make a long story short, my father came to me as I was getting into college, and in my senior year, and he said, look, bad news, that you're the 4th child. I don't have the money to put you through college. So you're going to have to pay your education, your tuition, your books, your living expenses, your car, your insurance, your everything, right? You get 0 contribution from your dad. And so I said, well, I already had a business when I was in high school that I did during the summer. So it's because my dad, again, was mentoring me to be an entrepreneur, which was pretty cool. But now I had to be an entrepreneur year round. I couldn't just have a summer business.
Right.
If I had to pay, I had expenses every month. So, because I had moved out of the house and now I was living on my own. But, so I started a heating and air conditioning business. And what I was doing was I was data mining, going to the courthouse and getting leads of new homeowner transactions. And so I actually called the people and I started the heating and air conditioning company, but I offered them, I said, I'm a dead startup from zero company in the heating and air conditioning business. But what I had were thousands of leads of people that just bought a house.
Was it just your instinct to go there and find those leads? I mean, you'd figure that people who are in that business would already have sort of a disposition to say, okay, how do I go market my business? You thought of something that probably other people didn't think of.
Exactly. I just always felt that I was trying to, I was like, how do you start from scratch without an existing business? Right. I got to get leads. Right. It's all about customer acquisition. Right. All my life, my focus has been customer acquisition. So, so I got these leads from people that just bought a new house. They had great credit. They put the biggest amount of money they may ever invest in something into their home generally. And I called and said, welcome to the neighborhood. We're going to come out and do something for you amazing. We're going to clean your furnace and give you a free safety check. Wow. No charge. And so we were picking up 20 new accounts a week, but most people would be, well, hey, what about, we would talk to them about an electronic air cleaner, a humidifier, air conditioning if they didn't have it, and a more efficient furnace, because in those days, there was something called a pilot light in most furnaces that burned 24/7, 365 days a year. We had the rights to sell a spark ignition furnace. And this saved you 20% on your heating bill right off the bat, just from putting it in. So we went from 0, and this is 1977 when we started this, when I started the company. Went from 0 to $1 million my first year, wow. Which was pretty cool because in today's exchange, that'd be pretty close to about a $5 million business. $1 million a year in the 70s is about a $5 million a year today. So this is long before the internet, long before Amazon or Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. So it was really old school marketing, and it turned out to be the courthouse. But anyway, make a long story short, here I was, I had a driveway sealing business in high school, a heating and air conditioning business then in college, and all of a sudden I had 25 employees, 6 trucks going out every day. I quit school.
I was gonna say, did you finish college?
I had to quit school. So I dropped out to run the business because I would get to my company at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they open at 7 a.m.
Right.
and all hell had broken loose in many cases, and I just it was costing me too much money not to be there, and plus I had to hire someone to be there while I wasn't there. So I sold it to one of my employees, and then I had a pile of capital as a young kid. And so I started looking to buy a business. And so I was meeting with these business brokers, and they had, some of them hundreds of companies for sale. Pizza parlors, delicatessens, flower shops, restaurants, import, export, manufacturing companies. And I'm sitting there in front of this broker one day, and he's got stacks and stacks of companies for sale. And he had the books and records. I'm looking at the books and records of these companies, and I'm seeing, what am I seeing? Percentages. I'm seeing food cost percentages, rent percentages, leases, lease agreements. I'm like, this is my college right here, is to look at the P&L statements of 200 companies that are for sale, and why are they for sale? And then, whatever. I said, I want to do this, and that's what I did. I became a business broker to sell businesses to get the knowledge of the trends and what's going on inside all these companies. So that was 1980. I started a business brokerage company, and so now I'm sitting at the closing table. Somebody just bought a flower shop. Who's going to do your accounting? Oh, do you recommend somebody? Yeah, call this guy. Who's going to do your legal? You may want to be a corporation. Who do you recommend? Call this lawyer. What about insurance? So I'm giving them all these names, and now the lawyer's got 20 new accounts. The insurance agent wrote 20 new policies, 30, whatever the number was. And I said, wait a minute, I want to bring all of this in-house. And so I leased a whole floor of a downtown office building in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then I put the business brokerage in the center of it, and I've rented space around it to an accountant, to a lawyer, to an advertising agency, to graphic people, to all the support people to be able to provide services to these small business owners, and I called it the Small Business Center. Come to the Small Business Center. We can sell you a business, we can help you build your business, we can do your accounting, your books, your legal, your this, your that, and it was a synergistic business that worked together. And it took off, it was amazing, and Entrepreneur Magazine heard about it. They did a story on me in the process, and I got 800 phone calls from all over the world. So then Entrepreneur said, I got kind of friendly with the guys at Entrepreneur, and they said, we are Entrepreneur, you're dealing with all these entrepreneurs, why don't we license this to other people, and almost like a franchise, right? So that's what we did. We opened 30 small business centers across the United States in partnership with Entrepreneur Magazine, and now this was I call it my pre-Shark days, because I was taking equity in deals, and I was, helping people out. I'd sell a business to somebody, they were struggling because they didn't know what to do, and I'd come in and help them out a little bit, get them someone to run it. Maybe someone bought something for a wife and now she doesn't want to work, or she didn't realize it's going to be an 80-hour week in the mall, right? So the husband said, hey, my wife would love to buy a business, but buying a business and running it, it's two separate things, and it can be very, very time consuming. So make a long story short, this was back in the early 80s now. It kind of takes me through high school, college, owned a couple businesses, sold it, and then started the Small Business Center. We opened 30 of these around the country. So here we were helping entrepreneurs become more successful.
What's interesting is I'm seeing like a little bit of a pattern form. Like Freud once said, it seems to be my fate to discover the obvious. It's like, okay, you're starting this heating business, heating and air conditioning. The obvious place to go for leads was where you went, but other people weren't seeing the obvious necessarily.
Right.
In this case now, hey, there's a bunch of people buying small businesses, usually local businesses. They need all the support, so of course it makes perfect sense. Build a support center around them. This is great win-win for the people who are purchasing the business. Probably increases their probability of success a great deal.
Yes.
And at the same time, now you've got a business in supplying these services. Everybody wins. So you seem to have this pattern of saying, there's a need here. I can observe it. It's an opportunity, and then you take advantage of this. Thanks so much for being here and watching that video. And can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel so you can find out when we're posting new content. You'll be alerted right away when we do. To share this with people you think might benefit from the information, and certainly it helps us if you like the video. So if you like what you just saw, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, thank you so much for being here with me right now.